Hello friends, this is Navdeep Mehta and welcome to AI, and today we are going to recap all the code we used in our previous 5 lectures for predicting the UK job salary prediction. So in this lecture we are going to just told you all the code in just one lecture, not in detail but in short. If you want to watch all the codes in detail one by one, you can watch our last 5 parts that I have uploaded for UK job salary prediction. Link is given in the description box as well as in the I button. So let's continue with this lecture. So firstly we import all the library of BUge, Panda, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn for visualization, Panda for data read, NumPy for changing data, and Pickle for saving the model. Then after from Google.Colab, this is used in Google Colab to import a Google driver so that you can use the data, the CSV file that I have uploaded in the driver. After that we import our data set, then print head, then check the size is equal to what? Length into weight, it means columns into row, then shapes, describe the function, describe is used only for continuous value. So if you want to see describe function for all the continuous and categorical, then you have to include equal to all. After that we make a data frame namely temp whose index is the column is our data set column value. Then we print the data type of our data set and print the each data type. Then print the null count, how many null value empty value present in our data set, then unique count, and just print it in a single data set. After that we have deleted ID, full description, location and sources name because these are not our useful and these will not help us for predicting our result salary. Then we set a white grid, as you see here, this is a white grid. Then here you see count plot for the contract type, how many full-time and part-time in the data set, then contract time, permanent contract, then the contract type is salary normalized, that if there is a contract type and salary, what was the salary of the full-time, what is the salary of the part-time, what was the outlier present with 25%, 50, 20 and 100%. After that we did same thing with the contract time. Then we print location normalized and you see it is normal to student normalized, and the line where continuous line is starting, this means that from this continuous line all the value considered is outlier. Then we print the count of the top 10 company in our data set. After that we print the top 10 company in our data set which give the highest salary. After that we print title count, top 10 title which is highest in our data set. Then we print the title which is giving highest salary. These all are the top 10. Similarly for location normalized, then location normalized with the salary. Then we print contract type, location normalized and used contract type. On the basis of hue contract type, it is going to divide our data set and give. Here you see full time. For contract type of full time, both permanent and contract are equal number of value. But if we talk about the part time, then permanent is less and contract time is more, and the salary in the full time, if he is working as a permanent or is working as a contract, is highest, but salary for the part time, if he is working as a permanent or contract, the salary is low. Then move to the next. I have already shown you this, so let me forget that. Let me delete this because this is not our use. Then here we check outlier for our salary normalized and see these all the value are outliers, and you see the continuous value is not, but the gapping start, these are outliers. Then we use a function to remove the outlier, then pass the value of salary normalized to remove the outlier. After removing the this function is used for checking the what are the different outlier present in our data set. Then we print a salary normalized function, see the all value are outliers in our data set. Then we use quarantile 25%, and IQR is equal to Q3 minus Q1, and then we append the value which is greater than so less than 25% and greater than 25%, and we put different in upper and lower bound. Then we delete the upper one and lower bound, and now we are free with our outlier in our data set. After that we see that there is a decrease in the row, and here you see our data set is free from outlier. Then again we print this command, and here we see that with outlier in full time, permanent and contract are equal, but after removing the outlier, contract has less and full time is real, and that the actual thing happens in real life. After that we deal with the null value, and here you see we have one null value in title, contract type, contract time and company, and here you see contract time has less null value. Put in the mind that contract time has less null value. It will be discussed later on why I told you to put this in the mind. If so in this, what is happening in that, if contract time has some if contract time is a null value, and if contract time is part time, then it will be the contract. Okay, now first you check, is contract time is null value? Yes. Then if contract type, for that contract time null value, contract type is part time or full time. If it's a part time, then it will be the contract. If it is a full time, then it will be the permanent, and if it is not null value, then it is written as it is. And after that we just apply it with the apply function, and we fill up all the value in the contract time which have null value. After that we apply the same things for contract type. Then after we just use a fill function. A fill function used to fill the value just above the it. If suppose there is a column with a value x by x, null and z. So null above the null it is x, so the null value will be the x, and we fill the company value and title with this command. After that we are free from the null value. Then we convert the full time. I think this code is not used for us, so you can just forget this. I think this code is not used for us, so you can forget these codes. These are not of use. But here you see we have assigned full time as 2, part time as 1. Then df.replace function is to replace the value, and in contract tab when it finds full time it replaces with 2, and if we find part time it replaces with 1. After that we are checking that in correlation we see that contract type and in contract time is highly correlated. 91% it is correlated to each other. So if it is correlated more than 80-85%, we should remove that one of the value. So here we have removed contract type. Why contract type? Because contract type has less number of null value as compared to contract type. After that we label the our data set in the int form. It means that if you want to train a model, then you should give the integer value or float value. It is not going to take a string value. So here if label if column name, if the data type of that column is object, then it is convert into categorical value by assigning +1. Suppose there are 3 categorical value in our data set, x, y and z. Then x assigned with 1, y assigned with 2, and z assigned with 3. So whenever there is x, it is 1, y 2, and z 3. This will change our categorical value into the integer value, continuous value, without increase the column size. It will not increase the column size here. And if there is not an object, then it just pass. Why we use this command? Because if we use without any condition that df.label data object, then it's going to change the salary width also. If suppose there are in 100 there are 90 different salary value, then it's going to assign this 90 value with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So if there is integer value, it is not going to change into categorical form like integer value, first integer value is 1, second is 2, third is 4 like that. So we use this command. Now after converting this, you will see that if you run the code, you can get integer 8, and for that we should convert if it find anywhere as int 8 as data type, then it convert to int 64, because rest of our data is of int 64 type. So this command is used for that. Now after that we use entry separate as TTS, and here we drop normalized, Sully normalized in here, and put it as train value, and for df Sully normalized it is a test value, and random set 10. If you use this 10 value, then the data set in your training and testing would be same as me. Test size is 2.0. This means to say that 80% as 10 and 20% as a test. After that we use mean absolute error to calculate the average difference between the actual and predicted value. After that we use random forest regression, and we fit the model, then we predict the value, and we see that there are 407 error. to the average salary difference between the actual and predicted value for the training set is 407 and for the testing set it is 1097. Then we check the future importance and we saw that after categories our company has very less help us in predicting the value. So what we do that we should only keep category, contract type and salary data for our training test, and again we split trend test as split here we talk salary normalized, company title and location normalized, and then we again run the code and we see that we had increased the accuracy of our model. So for better increasement in accuracy, we use hyper tuning in this way where we put n estimator is 10 to 100 where 10, 20, 30 like that. Input of random seed 1, max depth is none, first is none, then 3, then 5, then 10. Maximum sample split as 2 to 20 and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like that, and 1 to 20 that maximum sample if these are the different parameters in a random regression we use, and after that we use 100 iteration, not single iteration, we do 100 iteration and we finally we get the best parameter after 100 iteration is that max depth is 0, max feature is auto, random is 79, n is 90, maximum speed lift 2, maximum sample is 1, maximum sample 20,000. And after this base parameter we again predict the model and we get a result of 1342 and 1505. Now guys, here is C. You have got 200 difference between them, but you see the overall value is high, but as you see here it is 5000 difference, 3000 and then 8050. So getting lesser value is not our best result. If you suppose you are sit in the examination, you score less marks in class test, but in bit if there is an board test, examination test, you get higher marks. Then one can think this student score less mark in class and in board it score high marks. Something went wrong. Okay, like that is setting. If you score highest mark in class 10, you score less marks in the board exam, and say this student by scoring good marks in class, but in examination he got failed. But if you score equal weightage of marks in training in the class test and examination board exam, then it will be good and best things. So getting lesser value is not important. We should have to minimize the difference between the value predicted by the train and test. That should be very less and less. That should be a best model. Either if you score good marks in examination board, less in class test, then it is a case of overfitting, I think underfitting. And if you score best in class test and less in board exam, then it is a case of overfitting. But if you score equal weightage of marks in both class test and as well as in examination board, then it is a best fitting. And after that we got a best fitting as 1505 and 1342. And after that we save our model as a model UK job. This is help us to predicting our value without using the code we use. Here we have to just pass out the value and we will get a result. How we can do this? We can learn it in the next lecture where I am going to deploy this model on Heroka as an online and on PyCharm as a local server. Both for the online server and local server, both in the next lecture, that is tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to deploy this project. Okay, so wait for our next video where you can see the deployment of this project in the online and offline, local and online server both. That's it. Thank you for this.